Okay. All right, guys. Well, sorry it took a minute to get up and running here. We had a technical difficulty there with the mics, and so I apologize for that. I know some of you were frustrated wanting us to hop on and get up and running here on the update. As of right now, everything is pretty much kind of all systems go for really the strongest hurricane we've really ever seen in that regard here. You just have a look here at current satellite imagery here, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits, and you can just get a look at just the sheer, just mesmerizing image here of major Hurricane Milton that is now a Category 5 hurricane with just a perfectly symmetrical eye wall. Just looks like a buzzsaw running through the southern Gulf of Mexico. So it's certainly an interesting look here. I want to go through and kind of update you guys on a few factual things that are coming out and about there on the socials. It's pretty incredible. First thing I want to share with you guys is some stats about just the strength and the intensity of this. Comparing the ongoing rapid deepening of Hurricane Milton, it is to the historic deepening of Wilma that happened in 2005. There are so many things to talk about right now with just kind of history in the making, if you will. Another very interesting fact is Milton is now missing 10% of the atmosphere's mass from its middle. That's like all the air from below the height of the two Empire State Buildings is missing. It's really difficult to even comprehend what that means. Just we're dropping at basically 9 millibars in pressure per hour. So with that said, I mean, if you're in the Tampa Bay region, you really just need to get out of there. If we're going to go over the forecast update here, right now Milton is 175 mile per hour winds here at the center, with pressure dropping to 911 millibars. It is now the strongest hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in nearly 20 years. Hurricane Rita in 2005. Additional strengthening obviously remains possible. So again, just a mesmerizing slash really kind of a nightmare image here for what could be heading for Florida's west coast. Okay, I've got another couple of very interesting things here to share with you that I really think that the storm surge forecast could reach 15 to 20 feet. I don't think we've seen the likes of which that's updated yet to how much the water levels could rise on the west coast of Florida. I want to go here and share a couple other statistics with you guys. If I can get into my channel here. Okay. There was another very interesting tweet that was sent to me. Since 1979, only 3 hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico have had a lower pressure than Milton's current value of 911. That was Hurricane Allen in 1980, Katrina in 2005, and Rita in 2005. So to put that into perspective for you, we're pretty much coming into now just basically record territory of the strength of Milton. Okay, it's in rare air now. It really is not showing any signs of weakening or the strengthening process stopping. If anything, as it gets over land here, the Yucatan Peninsula is right here. As it kind of clips land here, the southern part of Milton, it may kind of obstruct it a little bit and go through another what we call an eye wall replacement cycle, where the storm may build back up and re-intensify in its nature. And you can see right here on the east side of the eye wall, these colors popping up. That's the continuation of convection, explosion, in the strengthening of the storm, the perfectly symmetrical eye wall that you see. I want to zoom in on it because, again, it really is so incredible to see. You want to get anybody who's obviously in the path of this storm. I've got a relative in Clearwater who's refusing to leave. Actually, I was on the phone with them on my workout this afternoon, and they don't want to go. So, but anybody that is in the path, we really urge you to get out of the path of this storm as it's headed your way. I want to show you a couple different things. This is the aircraft, the Recon aircraft observations, and a couple of things you're going to note here. This is the SFMR wind speed, and you can see right up here, this is basically an antenna that extends off the aircraft Recon that tries to estimate surface winds. At one point in time, it was trying to estimate 180 knot winds, which would be close to 200 mile per hour surface winds. Obviously, that's not been confirmed. It hasn't been denied. But at this rate, you know, that type of suggestion is certainly alarming as the storm continues to drop. Again, 9 millibars of pressure per hour right now. There is no really weather model on the planet that has seen this rapid intensification to the likes of which we're seeing right now. We have not seen anything pick up on that quick of a rapid intensification, if you will. This is a look at our landfall guidance. I'm going to zoom in on this. This is a look at the different weather models and where things have the landfall going. The first one is the HWRF, which is the Hurricane High Resolution Forecast System, and it has a Category 3 going just north of Palm Harbor, Florida. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit just so you can see just north of Palm Harbor, southwest of Spring Hill. Then we have the HMON, which goes into the Clearwater, Largo area. And then we have the two newest forecast models from the high resolution hurricane forecast models that have it going just north of Bradenton, or one going right into St. Pete. So you can kind of see along the coast here. Hope, if you have radar scope maybe on your phone, what's just the distance and mileage just between from here to here? You know, the bottom solution to the top one. Maybe it's, I don't know, 20 miles. But the Hurricane Center now has the eye wall going right into the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, which is something that we've been talking about for several days. The interesting part about these forecast models is right now they're suggesting that the landfall intensity would be Category 3 hurricane. The strongest one, HWRF, at a 948. My concern is these models are underdone with the intensity on landfall. I think that this could easily make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. Listen, just given the sheer intensity that we're seeing right now that the models haven't seen, it's very difficult to put any stock into what they're saying on the intensity level because they've all missed it. And seeing the rapid intensification, dare I say, what concerns me immensely is, could it make landfall as a Category 5? It's not out of the question. There are a few things that are working against it that should eliminate intensity, like the dry air that wants to be pulled into it, and like the shear that the storm runs into. There's also something we want to look at, that the depths of the water off the Gulf Coast, they are much more shallow here. We have some things suggesting it should weaken as it approaches the Tampa Bay area. The issue is right now we're just not seeing anything really, you know, suggest any weakening at this current point in time. So just something to keep in mind with this. I would encourage you guys to share this with a friend, tag us on, you know, and let folks know we're live and we're going to be keeping you posted here. I want to show you another image here from the Hurricane Center. And again, I don't believe that this has necessarily updated just yet. This is the storm surge forecast, and the storm surge forecast along the coast here is showing 8 to 12 feet. I really believe this goes 15 to 20 feet. I don't see how this doesn't continue to come up and essentially, to put that into perspective, a lot of people were anticipating 6 to 9 feet from Helene across the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area. And so this is double that. And so the storm surge in and of itself will be totally catastrophic in terms of damage and wiping things out. And these folks here along the coast are still trying to clean up. I mean, you know, it's just, it is absolutely worst case scenario for these folks, and so our thoughts and prayers go out to them. I think this will change the landscape of Tampa Bay as we know it for years to come. I think it will wipe beaches and things off, just flat out off the grid here. So I'm very, very concerned for the Tampa Bay area. I've been going to and vacationing to that area my entire life. Clearwater Beach, I've been going there for 30 years. And, it's just very sad to think about what it could do to the area. We know there's a ton of questions. I know there's a lot of people in the comments. So I will get to them as I can. But what I want to continue to do is just kind of update you. I want to go now to the latest here on the hurricane forecast models, again, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. Tropicaltidbits.com. You guys can go and look at this and get this information as well. I want to show you kind of what I'm concerned with or what I'm watching in the regard of what could help hinder or mitigate the impact, if you will. I want to show you the potential dry air issues that Milton may come into contact with. Take it right to when we think it makes landfall. And the thing that could help lessen the blow, if you will, it looks like Tropical Tidbits is getting hit pretty hard. A lot of people are probably on the site right now. But you can kind of see, I'll let the site load up. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. See all this brown air here, or this brown color, if you will. Here we go. And what it's trying to do is, as it makes landfall, is it's trying to wrap that drier air into the storm. That could help in weakening, which is why some of these high-res hurricane models are trying to pull in this drier air and pull it up into the storm. There's also a lot of wind shear up here to the north, and wind shear can kind of cut apart the storm from the top. The issue is bigger hurricanes like Michael and Helene that just went through also had a ton of wind shear, and it didn't matter. Helene made landfall as a 4, Michael made landfall as a 5, I believe. And the interesting thing is Milton is the replacement. We retired the name Michael for hurricanes because of that one, and it was replaced with Milton. We're probably going to retire this name as well for what it's going to do to Florida. So nonetheless, this is just something that we're hoping will lessen the blow or lower the intensity of when it makes landfall. Can it be weaker? That's our thoughts. That's our hope. I'm concerned that it may not be, given the trends, for sure. There's another piece to this that we've been watching, and I'll go here to the charts and kind of show you something else I've been kind of keeping an eye on. Is up here to the north and west. If you zoom in a little bit, there's a trough up here in the deep south. You kind of see these lines here, these lines that dip. This is a trough, and what's happened is we've taken on a little bit of a negative tilt. So like if I come over here, like these are kind of pointing up this way, which means there's a trough there. And so what's happened is the American model guidance has really had the upper hand on seeing this trough and the nature of its negative tilt, because it's allowing for this to vent a little bit. It's allowing for it to be picked up and take a further north track, which is why you've seen the adjustments north into Tampa Bay from the Hurricane Center. It's because of this trough. And kudos to the GFS and to the hurricane forecast models. They've been on this all along. They've seen this for 3 or 4 days, where some of these other global models have been down near Fort Myers Beach, south of there even. The United Kingdom's weather model is still way down here. And we're missing some features that are really allowing for that amplification to be seen here, as you're seeing on the high resolution model. You're also noting it's entering into the right entrance region of the jet stream. These are the strongest winds here, up to 50,000 feet, and we have a right entry region and we have a left exit region. In those regions is where you have the most lift. And so the hurricane, once again, is entering into a region where there's plenty of lift there, and again may allow for the storm to vent and to breathe a little bit, which can is why you're seeing the strength of this hurricane be so impressive. I see a comment just over on the screen and says stronger than Andrew. I mean, at this point, I would venture to say so. I need to research that, but yeah, I want to go through and possibly take some questions. Hope, if you want to rattle some questions off.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions, I know, about East Coast or like the Atlantic side of the Florida. People wanting to know what's expected on that side.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of the big thing for you guys is going to be the rainfall forecast, especially from Orlando to Jacksonville, because of where on the northwest side of the low pressure center, you could see as much as 8 to 12 inches of rain from this. You're still going to see tropical storm force winds and probably Category 1 hurricane winds even on the eastern side of Florida. So as this kind of goes through the Tampa Bay region into Orlando, I would fully anticipate major hurricane-like conditions really all the way through here. Adding in the rain and the storm surge, I mean, you're going to be looking at flooding. In fact, there's a risk of flooding flash flooding in the area as well.
Maybe just touch on how southeast Georgia, South Carolina aren't really anticipated to see many impacts.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, when you look at that map, I mean, it kind of cuts off pretty sharply there from Charleston over to Savannah, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, over to Tallahassee, Florida. It's good that it's not going to work into areas where Helene impacted it. So a lot of that should stay out of there. The Hurricane Center is doing a nice job with kind of showing us where there will be tropical storm forced winds, if you will. And I can kind of show you that here. This is the tropical storm forced wind speed probabilities. Again, you can kind of see where we're cutting those off here across south side of Georgia, southern South Carolina, the areas that were really hit hard and just still left in destruction here across western Virginia, western North Carolina, western South Carolina. Luckily, those folks are not going to be dealing with any impacts from Milton.
See that we've been getting a few questions about what happens after Florida, about if it returns back to U.S. or what.
Yeah, I mean, the thought process right now is that it does not. The thought process is that it continues to. We'll turn on the full forecast here again from the Hurricane Center right now. I like their track. The only thing I'm somewhat concerned about is the intensity, but right now I have no reason to question. Our forecast has had it into Tampa Bay for a couple days. Now that they're there, I agree with that. It's no shade on them. This is a very hard call, very difficult forecast. And a lot of the global ensemble members have been south, which is, again, why they've probably seen that. But you can see Milton goes straight out to sea and it really kind of goes away here from the coast. But it's still a hurricane in eastern Florida come 7 a.m. Thursday. So you're not out of the woods, and you're probably looking at just widespread flooding, storm damage, power outages, you name it, as it goes there off the East Coast. Guys, I want to address something real quick. I've gotten a lot of questions about government alterations to the hurricane, like the government making the hurricane come about and steer it. And guys, I can't be any more clear with you how much total BS that is. And for anyone that believes that, you really have no clue how the atmosphere works. In fact, you can go back in time and you can look at wars where there's been seeding and nitrogen bombs tossed into hurricanes to try to alter their path for Cuba and all this other stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that you can look at. There's no way possible that you can make a hurricane form in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico and then put it right into Tampa Bay. It's just not reality. When I was in college at Mississippi State and we were learning about hurricanes, a Category 3 hurricane, it has enough energy. If you could bottle up the energy in a Category 3 hurricane, it has enough energy to power the entire Earth's energy budget for 1 year. So you really have no idea how just absolutely ignorant and crazy it sounds to think that the government is doing this and causing hurricanes. It needs to be squashed. It's taking away from the message of keeping people safe. It's total, utter insanity. And anyone that's saying it, you really should stop, because you have no idea what you're talking about. And it's just not accurate whatsoever. So the main thing we need to be concerned with right now is what it's going to do to the millions of people across the west coast of Florida, and how it's going to reshape the landscape of Florida. And anyone that thinks there's government alteration going on, you're absolutely crazy, and you just have no clue what you're talking about. And you should take it somewhere else, because you're taking away from the message that people need to hear to get out of there and get safe. So just want to address that. I've been seeing these comments. People are DMing me. I've got 50 DMs about government alteration of weather. And just, come on. It's not the time or place for that.
You got a lot of thank yous on that.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's silly. You know, that's just silly. Let's go back to right now. I want to kind of get a look here at satellite. There's actually another product I would love to show here. Tomer Berg has been putting out incredible content. His stuff is also free as well. He put in a new tool that I really want to see. I'm going to go and check it out. So check out his tool here. I thought this was really neat. This is the GOES 16 satellite of the center of, here I'm going to zoom this in a little bit, the center of where Milton is. Okay, the NHC track is the forecast is black, okay? The ensemble mean is blue. Here's what's very interesting about this. I want to pull this up for you and zoom in a little bit. You can see the center of Milton right now on satellite. Here's the eye right here, okay? And you can see how it's staying a little north of the hurricane center's forecast right now, keeping it possibly a little bit further north here than touching land. All right, you can see how the ensemble mean is north of the hurricane center's track. So that's very interesting. It's even the actual eye is even north of the ensemble mean. So we're seeing some deviation from the forecast right now, a little bit in its current track. Very nifty tool here to help us with understanding, where this is going. So the ensemble means in the data, the trend right now is a little bit less, it's suggesting less landfall and just more maybe out in open waters. That may play into the intensity. Does it continue to strengthen? Those are some questions we need to continue to ask ourselves. Guys, if you're watching right now, there's about 2,000 of you. Tag a friend, share this with us. These can get kind of throttle banned, and they can depending on what we're talking about, things that we're saying, the algorithms may not share it. We ask that you share this and get your friends out here so they can get the live updates and information. One thing we're very big on is we just share the facts, and we just share what we think is going to happen. We put our forecast out. We communicate what we think is going to happen. We're not here to try and hype it up, to try and scare people. We're here to just tell you exactly what we think is going on. And that's tough to find nowadays, but we'll do it, and we'll do it honestly. So share this. Again, if you guys want to view this tool, you can just go to Tomer Berg and just Google Tomer Berg products, TOMERBURG, I believe. And he's got a great website full of free tools for all of this stuff to track this. So a couple other things we can kind of go back and look at here is, let's see, a couple other tools we can show you. Oh, we have the 18Z intensity models are in. Let's talk about the 18Z weather models. So these are just in. And again, you can see now they are all kind of converging onto the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area. Okay, so these are just brand new weather models just in here that are really starting to shrink that cone of uncertainty and put it right into the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, Clearwater area for direct impact into the area tomorrow evening. 7 to 10 p.m. probably is what these are looking like. One thing I want to analyze here while I just have you guys is the intensity models forecast because this is also new as well. I want to take some time to really dive into this. At landfall, which is going to be somewhere, this is hour 48, okay, down here on the bottom. And then across the left side is the sustained wind in knots. That's not a wind gust. That's a sustained wind that's continuously blowing. You can see over here everything now initiating at a Category 5 strength. All right. 48 hours from now would be 2 p.m. on Wednesday. 2 p.m. on Wednesday, you start to see we have a lot of models still in that Category 4 intensity window here. It's right here, okay, where we start to see intensity levels drop a little bit. I want to go in, I want to keep your eye on the between the 48 and the 72, okay? And we're going to, right here is where we're analyzing what these models are saying for intensity. So we have out of 1, 2, 3, we have 3 models which happen to be, looks like the Canadian, the American, and the UK Met, the top 3 on the top right. CMC is Canadian, GFS is American, UK Met is United Kingdom. They are all staying at a Category 4 strength. The CMC staying at a Category 5, which I believe is a little bit out to lunch there a little concerning, but out to lunch I would hope. The other models that at that time frame that we're looking at, which again, if I could somehow get you to see, I don't think you can see the mouse, which is a little unfortunate. I wonder if I could, I don't know if I can draw on this or not. Probably can't. Keep right between 48 and 72. Note you've got 4 models that dramatically weaken. The ships, the HFS, the HAFSB, and the A, these purple lines, and then the orange is these are the hurricane models that weaken dramatically on landfall. Okay? You've got another one in here, the HWRF. This is probably the most realistic. Just analyzing this from a standpoint of just kind of seeing, I want you to follow this line right here, the HWRF. That's the afternoon intensity model forecast from that model. When it makes landfall tomorrow night, it is still Category 4. It goes Category 3 high end as it gets in over land. It's very similar to what the NHC is doing. The NHC is the black line. That's the National Hurricane Center's forecast. It's very close to the HWRF. To me, that seems to be the most logical approach to this at the moment. Unfortunately, I do not have HWRF 18Z guidance in yet because it just doesn't start coming in until later. All right, I think that model doesn't actually start producing images here until probably closer to 4 o'clock. So just something to keep in mind is still the 12Z run. I will show you what the model is saying from the morning run. Now, just so you can see, I actually don't think I have the previous intensity forecast, but I will show you what the morning HWRF showed as it was nearing Florida. Okay, and you can see right here the intensity forecast at that time, 110 knots. It looks as if the 18Z is stronger. It most likely is probably a stronger hurricane at this rate, but you can see it was a little north in that first graphic I showed you. It was a little north right here, the graphic that meteorologist John Kemper made, and you can see it was a little north, but it had the highest and lowest pressure or the strongest hurricane landfall. What's interesting is how slow it was with its landfall. Okay, I think if it makes landfall faster, it's moving faster, it stays stronger. That may be what the HWRF is hinting at, is that the hurricane moves faster, it may not be able to weaken all the way as much. So again, for those of you watching, share this with a friend. If you're not following us, follow us, like, subscribe, whatever it is that you do. Repost this on X, share it on Facebook, whatever the case may be. I'll take a few more questions. Hope if you want to read some stuff to me.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been just asking me about to point out just how far north may it shift, how far south do you think it could go, or
yeah, this is a great illustration right now of that uncertainty. These are the hurricane models. I do believe the new European is coming in. I can check that, the European weather model. problem is I may not have, yeah, here we go. I may have to sign in here. I may not have that. I don't have that. I don't think I'm signed in on any of my accounts here. I'm not. Gosh darn it. Okay. Can you holler out there and ask the guys to send me the 12Z Euros landfall location? I'll pull that up. What I'd like to do is show you what the latest Euro had. I do think it's relevant. Let's see what we have here. That way you can kind of give you an idea of some of the uncertainty in the track. Again, our thought process all along has been right here. This is where we've been, right here, all along. So that's where we're at currently. I think I'm going to get an image sent over.
Oh, you want an image?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just saying it was kind of off in terms of intensity, location good, timing.
Where does it have landfall at? What time?
Right around midnight.
Okay.
Right there in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay. So the European is a midnight landfall right in the Tampa Bay area, which is, again, it seems like everything's kind of coming in on the consensus that Tampa Bay is where we're going to be going. And I know there's a lot of myths and legends about how hurricanes avoid the area and don't hit it. And I certainly don't want people getting sucked into that at this rate. It seems as if this model, yeah, it has the area of low pressure going right here, right between the A and B. That's the European's landfall. Okay, just model watching on my phone, but that's where it has it going. What other questions do we have, Hope?
Keep hearing a lot about Miami. You want to briefly touch on Miami?
Sure. I mean, Miami has tropical storm watches out. You will probably see tropical storm force winds. In terms of rainfall, you're probably going to get a decent amount of rain, a little bit, 2 to 4 inches of rain perhaps. There's not really a big flash flooding concern. You're just going to be dealing with tropical storm force winds. Maybe there's some isolated power outages, but the worst is absolutely north of the Miami region for sure. I don't see any reason to go against that right now.
What about Orlando? Disney questions?
Yeah, I mean, Orlando's going to get hit good. I mean, I think that you're going to be dealing with, in fact, I can go here and just kind of, this helps me answer some questions here. I mean, I think you're dealing with winds going through Orlando at perhaps as much as 85 miles an hour, with rainfall at 4 to 8 inches of rain, widespread power outages, probably damage, a lot of wind and rain. So Orlando, Ocala, the Villages, you're all going to get hit pretty good in that region with strong, maybe even hurricane force winds for a minute.
I saw some more questions about how far inland you expect damage, but power outages everywhere too. So.
I mean, power outages, guys. Gosh, I think it's the whole central portion of the state. I mean, I don't know how there's going to be any power. If you just kind of took this rainfall map and you kind of took my hand right through here, I don't know how there's going to be any power in here at all. Seriously. I mean, I would be really shocked if there. I can tell you along the coast there ain't going to be power for a long time. It's not. You're not going to get any. So, yeah.
Somebody asked about comparing it to Ian back 2 years ago.
I would say that this needs to be in a different category than Ian. Ian, as bad as it was, I believe it was a Category 3 hurricane when it made landfall. Still a horrible hurricane, no question. Where this storm looks to enter into the bay is, I can't stress enough how absolute worst case scenario that really is. So, yeah, I don't know if they compare.
Nobody else really.
Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate you all watching and checking out the update. It is 3 o'clock. We're going to head over and do a TikTok live for the folks over on TikTok here in just a little bit. I'll probably come back with another live here around 4 o'clock or 4:30 this afternoon. Let's just call it 4:15. Let's get some posts out. 4:15 p.m. We'll come back live with updates. We'll have some new data in, hopefully some new imagery from the HWRF and the afternoon hurricane models. And we'll just kind of see what aircraft Recon is saying, how the hurricane is behaving. Long story made short, if you are along the west coast of Florida, please get out if you can, get away from the coast areas, and just take this very seriously. Again, maybe looking at the strongest hurricane we've ever seen hit this part of Florida in history. So we will keep you posted. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share, and we'll talk to you soon.